it caught on fire and the home was destroyed. And yeah, that happened a lot in Florida because I was a reporter in Florida and there's a lot of, bad storms there. And so I headed over to the scene. Fire department was on the scene. The two men were okay, but their homes were destroyed. They had all these medications in there that were destroyed. They were just very distraught and didn't know what to do. And so they decided to speak with me. And my whole goal of the story was to make sure that people can send donations, food, clothing, money, help them get whatever they need. And I was very excited to put the story on the airs because I wanted to help them. So, you know, I'm about to go on the 10 o'clock news. It was about 9 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear something on the
Mm-hmm.
scanner that there was like one car, like it was a singular rollover crash, they call it. So one car rolled over, person was fine. They walked out. They just, their car kind of went into a ditch. It was a very desolate road. Nobody was there. So there was no like blocked traffic or anything. It was fine. It was not a story. And so I ignored it because no one was hurt. It was all good. And I didn't want to leave the story that I had planned on doing. And so about 10 minutes later, I get a call from my producer and he said, "Hey, did you not hear about that crash? You need to go to that." And I said, "Yeah, but it's nothing. I mean, it's not news. The person walked away. There's no block traffic. It's fine." Well, he forced me to go because he had that seniority over me. And I had to abandon the story about the men that I thought was really important to tell their story to get them help. Um, they still ran it, but a very short
Mm-hmm.
version compared to what
Mm-hmm.
it was supposed to be. And I ended up doing my live shot, we call it. That's, the location where I go live. I ended up doing my live shot on this dark, buggy road with an abandoned vehicle. It made no sense, and I felt stupid. Like, why am I here telling people that there's an abandoned car on an abandoned road where nobody was hurt? And so that had happened to me so many times before, but for some reason it was that night that like was the final straw. And I went home and my husband was just my boyfriend at the time. And I like laid on the ground and just stared at the ceiling for like half an hour. And he's like, "What is wrong with you?" And I was like, "I gotta leave. I can't do this anymore." And so the next day I started my job search process and it took about 2 months to secure a new job. And I was heartbroken because I put my heart and soul into that career and I wanted to do it since I was 13, like I said. So coming to terms with the fact that I had to leave was really tough, but I realized that I could use my talents in other ways, still help people, still tell people stories. So I don't regret the decision at all.
Yeah. No, I understand. I can imagine what you went through. Yeah, to me it seems like for you growing up there was
Exactly.
this idea that being a reporter or being part of this community was all about helping people and making people's voices heard. And then you end up working for these dickheads that pretty much, force you to prioritize some meaningless clickbait stories over stories that actually matter, right? Yeah, and this happens a few times, and then you realize that the whole business or the whole industry functions that way. Correct?
Exactly. It's tough because I obviously want to defend journalists who are doing great work, and that's the majority of them. The problem, from my perspective, from being on the inside, is not, I don't even blame the producer who made me do that. I blame the station owners who push for the clickbait. They're the ones whose philosophies get trickled down throughout the newsroom, and the management has to enforce whatever the station owners say. And so, do I think that executive producer who made me do that do I think he thought it was a better story? No, I don't. But he has pressure from people higher up than him telling him, make sure you get, the sexiest story, whatever that means. And so but then the problem is that we're the ones on TV, so we get blamed because we're the visible ones. So I had, a lot of people blame me for things when it's like stuff was
Mm.
out of my control,
Yeah,
you know?
definitely, definitely.